We are going to continue to factor in this lesson. The difference between this lesson and the last lesson is now we have a term, a coefficient in front of the x squared. So let's try 2x squared minus 13x plus 6. This is still going to be factored into two binomials. You're going to want to multiply to get this first coefficient. So think of the factors of 2 to make 2. It's 2 times 1x. 2x times x makes 2x squared. And then you're going to want to multiply to get 6, but the middle has to be added to 13. What makes this hard is now you have to work with this coefficient right here. So this is a guess and check game. So multiples of 6. Maybe I want to try 2 and 3, not multiples. Factors of 6, maybe I want to try 2 and 3. So maybe I try, now this has to be positive and this has to be negative, so -2 and -3. The only way to see if this is right is the guess and check method. So checking for our firsts, outers, inners, lasts. -2 and -6 are not -13, it's -8, so this does not work. Let's just switch these around, -3 and -2. Again, I'm going to use FOIL to check. Firsts, outers, innards, lasts. So this term and this term are right, but the middles equal -7x, so again, I'm not right. Let's think of other factors of 6. Besides 2 and 3, let's try 1 and 6. So maybe I put 1 here and 6 here. Again, I want a negative times a negative, so I make a positive, but I need this middle term to be negative. So firsts, outers, innards, lasts. Hey, when we combine these like terms, we get our original answer. So this is our answer. Now that took quite a bit of guessing. If you like this method, you're welcome to use it, but I have another method that has less guessing, and this is called the slip and slide method. Okay, so I'm going to take that same problem. That problem was 2x squared minus 13x plus 6. There's a reason why it's called slip and slide. What you're going to do is you're going to take the first term and you're going to slip it to the back. And when you slip it to the back, it's like multiplying. 2 times 6 is 12. So this term is now 12. The first term is x squared and the middle term didn't change. When you slip that coefficient to the last term, notice this is like yesterday's lesson. So I'm going to organize my thoughts with the T table. I need a number that multiplies to be 12 but adds to be -13. So I'm thinking of factors of 12. I'm thinking 1 times 12, and I'm thinking a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive 12. When I combine them, it's going to give me a -13. Okay? So we have x minus 1, x minus 12. Okay, we're not finished yet. That doesn't match our answer from above. Here's the slide part. What you're going to do is you're going to take that number that you slipped to the back and slide it to each constant in the parentheses. Okay. If you can reduce, you're going to reduce. If you can divide out, you're going to divide. Okay, so this one I can't reduce or divide, but this one I can. This becomes x minus 6. If you can't reduce or divide, what you're going to do is slip this term back to the front. So you're going to see that this matches what we got up here, 2x minus 1 times the quantity x minus 6. And we got that with a lot less guessing. There's a strategy compared to just guessing, 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 and checking, guessing, and checking. Let's do another problem. Factor another problem with the slip and slide method. Let's say we have 4n squared plus 11n minus 3. So what I'm going to drop everything else down. Now I'm going to factor it just like I did yesterday. N times n gets us the first term. To get the second term, I'm going to organize my thoughts. I want to multiply to be negative 12, but add to be 11. So I'm thinking the factors of 12 could be 1 times 12. I want a negative 12, so one of these has to be negative, and this needs to be positive. So the bigger number is going to be positive, and the smaller number is going to be negative. That's going to get us a positive 11. So n minus 1 and my plus 12. Now we're doing a slide. We slipped, we slide, we slip the 4, so we're going to slide the 4 back here. We're looking to reduce or divide. Looks like we could divide this one out. We get n plus 3. If you can't reduce or divide, you're going to slide that term out in front. Now you're probably looking at this and you say, sure, I can divide that. It gets me a decimal. You don't want a decimal. You don't want a fraction. So if you can't divide out evenly, you push that out in front. Okay. Try 3t squared plus 8t plus 4. Push pause and try that now. Okay, so you're going to slip the 3 over to the 4 and you're going to multiply it. You get 12. Now I'm going to factor. We're going to multiply to get 12, but add to be 8. Multiply to be 12, but add to be 8. So I can use 3 times 4. That's not going to work. What about 2 times 6? When we add those two positive numbers, we get 8. I'm going to slide this 3 back. In the first parenthesis, we can't reduce or divide, so I'm going to slide the 3 in front of the t. In the second parenthesis, I can divide, so I get t plus 2. Okay. I would like you to try 4s squared minus 9s plus 5. Push pause and try that now. Okay, so we have one more part of this lesson, and you need to know how to factor when your first term is negative. So let's say we have a negative 3a squared minus 13x minus 4. We cannot use the guess and check method. Well, I guess you could, but it's going to be harder. And you cannot use the slip and slide method if your first term is negative. So this first term is negative. What you're going to do is you're going to pull out a negative out of all 3 terms. Just like a couple lessons ago, when you pull a number out, it goes on the outside of the parentheses, and then you divide each term by it. So negative 3a squared divided by negative 1 is 3a squared. Negative 13, that should be an a. Can't have 2 different variables. There we go. Negative 13a divided by negative 1 is a positive 13a. Negative 4 divided by negative 1 is a positive 4. Now that I have a positive first term, I'm going to choose to use the slip and slide method. And I'm going to slip this back by multiplying. So I get a squared plus 13a minus 4. I forgot to multiply, didn't I? I was going to say that looks weird. There we go. Much better. Now I can factor. My first terms are a's. I need to multiply to get negative 12, but add to be a positive 13, something that factors of 12. 1 and 12 would work great. But 1 needs to be positive and 1 needs to be negative. Holy cow, I'm making a bunch of mistakes on this one, aren't I? Okay. I should start all over. When you make this mistake, this easier just to start over, but I see my mistake. So not only did I forget to multiply this, take a look from this step to this step. I changed this from a positive to a negative, and it shouldn't be. Okay, so when I multiply, I need to make a positive 12, and when I add those two terms, I need to make a positive 13. So 1 times 12 makes a positive 12, and I add them together, I get 13. Whew. Notice I didn't give up, I just kept on going. Okay, so we slipped, now we need to slide. We slip the 3 to the back, and that's going to slide back. So here I have a negative 1 times the quantity. This is going to be slid up there, because I can't reduce or divide. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, so this is a good answer. Your best answer looks like this. I just got rid of the 1. This and this means the same thing. Okay. Let's see if you can do negative 5m squared plus 6m minus 1. Give it your best shot. Make sure you write down any questions that you may have.